Let's move on now to our political debate tonight, and that of course is the ripples and the storm after two statements. One of course was Salman Khurshid's attack on Narendra Modi. The second was Rajnath Singh, BJP party president, talking about offering an apology. What was he wanting to apologize for? Was it for 2002? No, says the party. Meanwhile, the BJP is demanding an apology from Salman Khurshid after he called Mr. Modi's handling of the 2002 riots the response of someone who's impotent.
हमारा आरोप ये नहीं है कि तुमने मरवाया है, हमारा आरोप ये है कि तुम निपुंसक हो, तुम मारने वालों को रोक नहीं पाए।
माफी मांगनी चाहिए श्रीमान सलमान खुर्शीद को अपनी इस अभद्र भाषा के प्रयोग के लिए।
The BJP is demanding an apology. They are saying that the Foreign Minister Salman Khurshid had no business to use words like napunsak, translated into English, impotent, for Narendra Modi while talking about his handling of the 2002 riots. Has Mr. Khurshid crossed a Lakshman Rekha? Has he used unparliamentary language? And is 2002 even an issue in these elections, or is the Congress in a sense showing the desperation that the BJP alleges that it is? Joining us now is Salman Khurshid himself. Mr. Khurshid this morning has said that he stands by his use of the word impotent. We're also joined by Prakash Javadekar, senior leader of the BJP. Remember, the BJP is saying Mr. Khurshid has shown an impropriety and indecency in language and he must apologize. Mr. Khurshid, are you ready to apologize? This is not the first time that your use of words has landed you into the center of a political storm. You can attack Mr. Modi on the basis of ideas, of course, that is legitimate politics. But to play this kind of reductionist politics where you make a personal attack, even as your Vice President Rahul Gandhi says personal attacks are wrong. He said that just this week. Have you crossed a Lakshman Rekha, Salman Khurshid, with the use of this very personalized word, napunsak?
What is personal about this? I'm happy to use another word if you give me a word that expresses what I've said. He's happy to be called a killer. I didn't call him a killer. He's happy to be called a slaughterer of human beings. I didn't call him a slaughterer of human beings. He talks about a clean chit. I didn't question his clean chit. He talks about
you can't call him any of these things because there is a court that has upheld the SIT's decision that there was no prosecutable evidence against Mr. Modi. Therefore, even if you wanted to, you cannot call him a killer or a slaughterer.
Thank you. But you are talking about my ability to judge the right thing. Now you are saying you can't say this because the courts have not held him guilty. And now, if I don't say because the courts have not held him guilty, I don't get credit for it. I do? I don't. Now if the courts have not held him guilty, the courts have not said that 117 people are not serving life sentence because of what happened in 2002. The courts have not said Maya Kodnani is not to serve a life sentence, who is a minister in his government. The courts have not said that people were not killed at large scale. Courts have not said that villages were not destroyed in large scale. Courts have not said all that. Now, if I cannot hold him directly responsible for this, what else can I say? I can say that he is incompetent, and incompetence is enough to describe the kind of mayhem that was caused in Gujarat. So there has to be a stronger word, and the stronger word is impotent. And if you open the dictionary, you will find that impotent means somebody who either does not have capacity, ability, or doesn't have the strength or the wherewithal to be able to deal with something that he's supposed to do.
But
and
Mr.
then the BJP smarts at this.
But Mr. Khurshid, when your clarification came this morning, and it wasn't really a clarification, you were basically saying you stand by your use of the word. But in the course of that clarification, what you said actually personalized discourse even further. Let me quote what you said. You said, I'm not his doctor. I didn't physically examining him. I have no business to be saying what his physical condition is. The word impotent in Hindi, napunsak, is used in the political vocabulary to show that somebody is incapable of doing things. Now, by bringing in his doctor, by saying you didn't physically examine him, I mean, aren't you just being more snide?
What? I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, I'm saying what is the context in which you interpret this word? This word cannot be interpreted in a personal context. Now, I can't even be allowed to say that I cannot allow you to use this word in a personal context. You know, Barkha, you've been caught in a very, very tight position. There is no answer to what I have said. Who stands up and says we want to apologize to the Muslims of this country for the wrongs that we may have done? The president of BJP. What are the wrongs that the BJP has done that they want to apologize to the Muslims for? And I say, don't apologize to the Muslims, apologize for this country. Apologize to this country, the soul of this country, and to all the people of this country. Because the people who are hurt by you are not only Muslims. Please do not divide this country into those you think you have hurt and those you think you haven't hurt. Everybody in this country, no matter where they come from and what their religion is, has felt hurt about the things that the BJP
Okay, you're talking about Rajnath Singh's statement. You're of course talking about Rajnath Singh's statement, and that's a valid question, that what was Mr. Rajnath Singh offering to apologize to the Indian Muslims for if it was not for 2002? But just before Mr. Javadekar answers that, one more question for you, Salman Khurshid, and the question is this. If the people who died on Mr. Modi's watch, if the people who were killed on Mr. Modi's watch in 2002 was a result of what you call his impotence, then would you use the same description for the Congress government in 1984, on whose watch 3,000 Sikhs were killed, for which Rahul Gandhi still refuses to apologize while admitting that some congressmen were involved? Jagdish Titler, who was given a clean chit by the CBI, that CBI director later gets a post as a governor of a state. So if impotent is the correct word for Mr. Modi's administration, then surely it is the correct word for the Congress administration in 1984. You have to be consistent with your use of the word. You have to be consistent.
Yes, we will. Well, we will be consistent. Now, let's put it in perspective. We have apologized. Not once, but 100 times we've apologized.
Not Rahul Gandhi. Not Rahul Gandhi. Not Rahul Gandhi.
Wait about. I know, but please understand, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was not in administration. Mr. Rahul Gandhi was not in a position where he had to account for what he did. Now you're going to say, please account for somebody in another generation, account for somebody in yet another generation. This is what the BJP has been saying to all of us. Please account for the partition. Please apologize for the partition. Now this is the kind of retrospective justice claims that you make, which confuses the argument. We are raising these issues about Mr. Modi because he was there in control, and he is today in control, and he wants to be in control tomorrow.
So would you use the same
he is
word
putting
for
himself up as a prime ministerial candidate.
Mr. Khurshid, would you use the same word for the Congress government in 1984? Was the Congress government
I've already said that I'm not celebrating 1984.
With the riots against the Sikhs?
Can we just use the words that we think that are appropriate? I have said that we were all deeply saddened. I saw the tragedies myself. We were all deeply saddened. We have tried to account for what went wrong. And how have we tried to account for what went wrong? By trying to reach out to an entire community and to say how proud we are of that community, how important we feel they are to the national effort, how we see that they have risen to the top. 2 chiefs of staff of the Indian Army have been Sikhs. The Prime Minister has been Sikh. I don't think that Mr. Modi can speak of any such record about Muslims in Gujarat. So we don't want to get into that argument. All I am saying is, allow us to use a word that best expresses our anguish. Otherwise, give us a better word and we will use that better word.
Let me bring in Prakash Javadekar. Prakash Javadekar, Salman Khurshid standing by his description saying, I didn't call Mr. Modi a killer. I said his administration was impotent. And it is my political right to take this opinion. How do you respond?
The whole world and the country is criticizing him, but he is unrepentant. So this is the Congress character of campaign to come, and they are stooping so low, using impotence like words, so he has become abusive. And when people become abusive, when they have nothing to offer, or they cannot answer what people are asking. So a loss of any theme in their campaign has brought them to this abusive stage. But let Salman Khurshid remember that abuses always come as a boomerang. They boomerang on him, they recoil on him. And that is why we have asked apology from him and apology from the Congress party. If you are going to that, you are stooping so low in your public discourse. People are already disinterested in, not only disinterested, but already people are rejecting you. Now they will start hating you. And this is what Congress has brought themselves to a situation.
Mr. Javadekar, you're saying Salman Khurshid is being abusive. He says, I am merely taking a political position. And now talking about apologies, because clearly Mr. Khurshid is not offering one for his use of the word impotent for Mr. Modi's handling of 2002. What was Mr. Rajnath Singh offering to apologize to India's Muslims for? This has confused a number of people, including within your own party, because Mr. Modi's position has been, if I am guilty for 2002, hang me, why should I apologize? What was Mr. Rajnath Singh saying sorry for? Was it for 2002? Is it for future mistakes? It was a very confusing statement.
Rajnath ji was very clear yesterday, saying that we deliver justice. And we have been doing justice with all sections of society, सबका साथ, सबका विकास. अगर आगे हमें एक बार विश्वास दो, हमें एक बार मौका दो और हम आपके भविष्य पर खरा उतरेंगे. भविष्य में अगर कोई गलती हम करते हैं और आप अगर कहेंगे, दिखाएंगे कि ये गलती है, तो मैं उसके लिए सर झुकाऊंगा.
तो ये भविष्य की बात थी, ये आगे की बात. जावड़ेकर साहब, ये जावड़ेकर साहब, I want to just clarify. You are saying Rajnath Singh was not apologizing for the past. वो आगे की बात कर रहे थे, भविष्य की बात कर रहे थे, 2002 के लिए माफी नहीं मांग रहे थे. I just want to clarify from you. Is that what you're saying?
No, see, you don't take out of context. He was not referring to the past period. Because in 2002, let me be very clear on your TV channel today.
Yes.
Salman Khurshid knows but wants not to be believing. The issue is, there were thousands of riots during the Congress regime.
Yes.
They wanted to discuss only one riot.
Yes.
Every riot is unfortunate. But this is the only riot where police took strong action, and through police bullet, 10,000 rounds were fired, and more than 199 rioters got killed in the police firing.
So, Javadekar Saab,
on the backdrop of 84.
Yes. Complete your point. Complete your point.
Yeah, and on the backdrop of 94, when police not fired single bullet, not wielded any stick also, and Rajiv Gandhi as the Prime Minister has justified it, reversing the scientific rule, and he said that when big tree fails, earth tremors. The science says when the earth trembles, the big trees fail. So
Let me put this to Salman Khurshid.
The Congress has done.
Let me put this to Salman Khurshid.
It was the pogrom, the only pogrom in India carried out after independence by Congress, and 2002 government has done everything possible to
let me take this to Mr.
Khurshid.
Let me take this to Mr. Khurshid.
And that is what SIT has come about. That is what Supreme Court has said.
Okay, Mr. Khurshid, Prakash Javadekar says you're being abusive. It's going to boomerang. Remember Sonia Gandhi's Maut Ka Saudagar? That didn't work for the Congress in Gujarat. Certainly, it boomeranged at that time too. I ask you again about 1984. Your anguish is not a direct answer to my question. And my question is quite simply this. If napunsak is a word for Mr. Modi's administrative incompetence as you describe it in 2002, then Sudhakar Rao Nayak showed the same incompetence in 1992-1993 in Mumbai. Then the Congress government showed the same incompetence in 1984. Then Ved Marwa, when he says I was not even allowed to complete my report, points to the same incompetence when he spoke about his inquiry into the role of the police. General Jamwal, who says that the army was not even used for a flag march in 1984. Is 1984, 1992 and 2002 are all three examples of administrative impotence. If you say that, I will accept your argument that the word is actually to describe incompetence.
Barkha, you're accepting my argument is not going to make Mr. Javadekar accept my argument.
No, I'm saying you have to be consistent. You have to use the same word for Congress rule states.
Please listen, please listen. No, why? You are not going to force me into a straitjacket. I may use the same word, I may not use the same word. I am saying today we are discussing the responsibility of an individual who was there, who is there today, and who now wants to be the Prime Minister of the country. You are now bringing out things about people who were responsible, who are long gone. Why are you not talking about 1857? Why are we not talking about 1947? because it is
because
not
there was no Congress,
today
there was no
relevant.
Congress in power then.
Today
We
what
were
is
not even an
relevant?
independent country in 1857.
No, we were in power, but the British were in power in 1857. We don't, every time I meet the British Foreign Secretary, I don't say how awful you were about 1857.
But
I
every
don't say
time
that.
you talk about Mr. Modi, you
Americans,
say
when they meet the Japanese,
2002. Every
no,
time you talk
Mr.
about
Modi
Mr.
is
Modi,
here
you say
now, and
2002.
Modi was then now. If Mr. Modi had retired from the BJP, he would not be a relevant person today in this debate. He is today presenting himself as a remarkable product of the Indian political system who wants to lead this country forward tomorrow as Prime Minister. And therefore it is important that we check him out for his record. And when we check him out for his record, we have only two options. Either we have an option to hold him guilty, which we are just being told he is not guilty because there's not even a charge sheet against him, or we hold him responsible in the extreme, and I'm saying the word advisedly, in the extreme, for a remarkable disaster that happened in this country. For a remarkable disaster. Now,
I
for
am
me,
merely
the word
asking you,
incompetent
I am merely
is,
asking you, Mr. Khurshid, whether you would use the same
Yeah.
word for Congress-ruled states on
Why?
whose
This
watch.
is not a debate about this. This is not a debate. I am not a historian. This is not a debate about what happened then.
84
I
is not
certainly
history,
think
sir.
if any of those,
If 84 is
any
history,
one of
so
those
is 2002.
people, Barkha, I am not asking about somebody who was editor of your channel 20 years ago and he said something defamatory about me. Will you apologize? No, I'm not going to discuss it because that person is gone. If you say something and you continue to do programs, I will hold it against you. It is the personal responsibility of a person in office who is then presenting themselves for a future office is a person who must answer for their record. Otherwise, historians will continue to analyze and historians will continue to hold people responsible or not responsible.
Mr. Javadekar, the last comments from both of you. Mr. Javadekar, go ahead.
This is absolute rubbish. Yes. Absolute rubbish.
And that's not unparliamentary. Rubbish is not unparliamentary.
He was the law minister.
Suddenly on your channel somebody uses the word rubbish and that's not unparliamentary.
Yes, it is not. It is not.
And it is not because it's coming from
Yes,
the
it is
BJP.
not.
Anything BJP
The
says
issue
is parliamentary, anything we say is unparliamentary.
No. In the parliamentary dictionary also. It's in the parliamentary dictionary also.
Yeah.
The issue is
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Now you're adding a falsehood. Now you're adding a falsehood to a false understanding of language.
You don't believe the legal system. You don't believe the legal system. You don't believe
you are the ones who believe the legal system, don't you?
You don't believe the legal verdict. You don't believe the SIT report. You don't want, you want to blame because your campaign is hate Modi campaign and that is why people have launched love Modi campaign.
Explain Modi campaign, not hate Modi. Not hate Modi, explain Modi campaign. Explain Modi campaign.
That's what has unsettled you. That what has unsettled Congress. That what is
Am I looking unsettled or you are looking unsettled?
He is staring a defeat.
Am I looking unsettled?
He is staring a certain defeat.
Okay.
In Uttar Pradesh, last time you had 22 MPs. This time you will have 2 MPs. And that is what your frustration is coming out through such abuses.
Thank you for your generosity. But I don't think on the screen just now people will be look at me and find me unsettled. I think they find you unsettled using the words like rubbish here on screen.
One question each to both of you. To you, Mr. Javadekar, you have just said Rajnath Singh was not, I repeat, not apologizing for the past. He was apologizing for potential future mistakes that the BJP may make. That is a very important clarification that has come from you. In which case, how will the BJP handle the baggage of BJP leaders like Maya Kodnani in your own state of Gujarat, who was an MLA, who has been called by the court, the same legal system, the kingpin of the entire riots that took place in the Naroda Patia area? She led the mob and incited them for violence. Do you believe that Mr. Rajnath Singh should apologize for Maya Kodnani when he talks about the apology that he's willing to make in case the BJP slips up?
We have not done, as a Gujarat government has not done anything where Rajnath Singh or for that any matter BJP should apologize.
So what was he talking about?
Justice,
what was he talking about, sir? What was he talking about?
From the government.
He was talking about future mistakes.
What about controlling the riots?
What was Mr. Rajnath Singh offering to apologize for?
He said, but in past we have not committed any mistakes. In past, we have done nothing where we have to apologize.
Okay. Okay. So what are you offering to apologize for? I really want to understand this. What was Rajnath ji trying to apologize for if the past has
He was assuring,
Huh.
he was assuring our minority morcha
Yes.
and the gathering
Yes.
three things.
Yes.
That we will deliver justice.
Yes.
We will be equal with everybody. All 125 crore Indians are same.
Yes.
And we want sabka saath, sabka vikas.
Okay.
This is our slogan.
Okay.
And in that perspective, we said,
Okay.
don't believe anybody's rumors. If we will not commit mistake, but if we commit mistake in future, and if you tell us and brought to our notice, I will bow down my head and apologize.
Salman Khurshid, that's been made clear. It was not an apology for 2002. Now, my question to you is this. Is the Congress fighting a losing battle by going on invoking 2002? It isn't working even with leaders who were once considered perhaps more natural partners of the Congress than the BJP. Take Ram Vilas Paswan. It isn't official yet, but everybody knows that Mr. Paswan, who walked out of the NDA on 2002, is now in talks with the BJP, could well stitch up that alliance. Nitish Kumar, today sitting as part of the alternative front, as it's now being called, was in the same partnership with the BJP for years. He didn't walk out because of 2002. Do you not think that the voter has become extremely cynical? Extremely cynical, A, by the constant bookending of 1984 and 2002 by both your parties, and B, by your constantly invoking 2002, it doesn't have electoral resonance anymore.
Listen, we don't do things for electoral resonance alone, and whatever may be happening in terms of people switching sides and people taking positions electorally, I think that you're not as naive as my friend has just been to pinpoint all this on what happened in Gujarat or what didn't happen on Gujarat. I don't think this is something on which we should be taking a final view today. Let things work themselves out, and then we will talk about it. But I'm really amused that this is the first time in Indian democracy that I'm hearing something called an anticipated apology. And I also anticipated apology for mistakes that will be pointed out by the people who came there to listen to him. I am still saying, apology only to Muslims? Will there be no mistakes that they will make about non-Muslims, about Hindus, about Sikhs and Christians? Or will they have separate apologies for everybody? The party that has been telling us don't divide the nation into different segments and different religious groups is now calling people separately to say, we will give you an apology for a mistake that we will make in the future.
No.
So now please help us make mistakes for the future. I'm sorry, but people get upset by words that I use. Do you know there's a word called gibberish? Do you know there's a word called gibberish? I hope it's parliamentary, because Mr. Prakash Jadvekar seems to have a parliamentary dictionary that I have not had a look at. But I hope he understands what gibberish is, and I congratulate him on a remarkable gibberish of 2014.
Mr. Khurshid, just very quickly, Rahul Gandhi had said that personal attacks are not on. He had criticized Manishankar Iyer, mocking Mr. Modi's origins as the son of a former tea vendor. So, are you in danger of getting reprimanded by Mr. Gandhi, or do your comments have his approval? I will be very happy if my leader decides that these are the red lines that you cannot cross. But I do hope that that you can be certain my leader understands English a lot better and Hindi a lot better than the BJP does. Isn't that a really, I'm asking you. Isn't that a very elitist explanation?
I'm asking you. Forget about that. Listen, the very fact that I'm on your channel, I'm sorry, I'm submitting myself to an element of elitism. So let's not talk about elitism. Let's just talk about, you give me one single word that expresses my anguish as effectively as the word that I've used. I'll be very happy to withdraw that word. But please give me a word in English, in Hindi, in French, or in any other language.
We leave it there. Prakash Javadekar, Salman Khurshid, the fault lines of 2014 widening every day, the battle lines getting intensified and drawn between the BJP and the Congress. Mr. Salman Khurshid, Mr. Prakash Javadekar, thanks for joining us.